Do you want to live a beautiful life that reflects the truth of who you are? Be bold and courageous as you step into your heartfelt desires. How does trusting yourself fully and connecting with your soul's purpose sound? The Unplanned Mom podcast is a potent mix of real life stories, practical spiritual teachings, and a community to help guide you for eternity. This is the place for inspiration with down-to-earth tools to help you pivot and continue to live your best life beyond your wildest dreams. Here we honor your deepest, authentic truth, embrace motherhood, talk all things money, mindset, and most importantly, miracles. So are you ready to say yes to all of this? If so, then let's dive in. I'm your host, Ashley Bush, and I have been praying for you, and I cannot wait to get to know you better. Let's go. Welcome back. Oh my goodness, it feels so good to be with you wherever you are listening. I am beyond grateful that you are here and with us as we get to know one another. So if you missed last week's episode, I know I had to chat during my walk. It has just been crazy. I mean, now that the kids are back in school and things are we're trying to get back into a routine, seems like we just can't catch a break with the illness. So if anybody else has got littles that are listening, I'm sure that you can relate to all of that. And so I really want to dive in and chat because, we all have things that are coming at us at all different times, and they'll continue to come, either, whether you are dealing with an unplanned pregnancy at this exact moment, maybe you are postpartum, maybe you've had your kids a long time ago, wherever you're at. I mean, if you're living, that unplanned situations are coming up. So it's bound to happen. We don't have a crystal ball, and really it's not by design that God wants us to just live this perfect life and not have to deal with any obstacles. So, I've just got to tell you that when we start to listen to those nudges from God, the world will really start to throw more crap at us. So what I mean by that is, the enemy literally, he just loves to come in. He wants to come in, intercede, wreak total havoc to make you doubt yourself, no matter what you're doing. So it's like the second you decide, you put a good thought in your head and you have the intention, you're going to put the action into it to make something happen, the world will start to come at you. Things will come up that obviously we're unplanned. I use that word a lot, obviously, because we are the Unplanned Mom School. But there are a lot of things, and it's really the enemy coming at us and trying to trick us and manipulate us and make us feel like we can't really do what we need to do. Sometimes these things can be really big things that are coming at us that throw us some major curveballs. Sometimes they're pretty small and we don't really recognize them till maybe we just start to feel that pit in our stomach and we're like, something just isn't right. And so that's just the enemy talking to us and putting that doubt and that seed of negativity in our brain. And so this episode, I really want to talk through just the power that has and really how we are going to work through it, what we do inside the Unplanned Mom School, and how we work with our clients and just really helping them with overcoming that mindset and moving forward in whatever area that they're trying to work through in their life, and ultimately just adapting to their unplanned pregnancy. And again, a lot of times we're working with students that are either they are pregnant, they are postpartum. It's kind of the mix, but the over and underlying theme is that they're there because they've had an unplanned pregnancy. And it's really just a unique group of people that we are working with, because I have found that these high achieving women, there's not a space online. And so the Unplanned Mom School is the number one place for women to come together that are high achieving and can have some really elevated, thoughtful discussions in a private space, whereas online and the free groups, it's a different kind of vibe. And we are really trying to just kind of separate from that and have a place for these women. And so I'm just super excited to just really share kind of what's going on the inside, and how we work through these mindset shifts inside the Unplanned Mom School. So, I want to just share a quick story. So earlier in this year, I started this business. I tried to start this business, I should say, about 10 years ago. And so life happened. And I will tell you then, I know it was the enemy that came at me, and I started to fall for all the worldly things that I should do. I really am starting to despise that word should. All the shoulds that we should do in our life is really just set up to just, it's not meant for us. And so when we start learning what is meant for us and following our intuition and what our own path is and our true North Star is, it becomes much easier and more defined to figure out what you need to say yes to and what you need to say no to. But going back to the enemy and how he loves to just get in your brain and tell you all these things that you aren't good at, and loves to sit there and tell you that this isn't going to work. Who do you think you are? Why do you think that you should be doing this? You can't say no to that person. You're so selfish if you're going to do X, Y, and Z. You shouldn't go for that 15-minute walk. What good is it going to do? It's not going to really help you. It's just 15 minutes. Just sit here. And then meanwhile, in your brain, your other side of your brain's like, well, I'll just sit here and I'll be miserable and it doesn't make me feel good. So when we start to make positive changes, I have found, especially coming into this work, this go around, my mindset was totally different. I probably about a year ago, really seeds started to get replanted, and really those nudges started to get really loud. And they weren't even nudges anymore. It was more like screaming in my ear, like what I should be doing. And there I go. I used the word should, but it really was the universe and like my intuition. And for me, it's God. God was really starting to speak to me. A year ago, I didn't recognize that. I just knew that things started to feel really off and really wonky in my life. And I knew I needed to make some significant changes. And so where's the first place that you start to look? It's your career. So for me, it was my career. I had been in an ad agency for 5 years. I had been there and I was going through the motions. It seemed like a cool job and I thought I should just be there and I should just have a job. But I started to just get this inkling and intuition that there's got to be something better. There's got to be something that's more in alignment with me and what I want to do and how my days on earth are supposed to be. And each pregnancy that I've had has been a really profound spiritual journey, each and every one. So out of my 5 pregnancies, again, three of my children are 3 girls here on earth with me. But throughout each pregnancy, I learned so much. And I can tell you this last pregnancy, I was finally to the place where I'm like, okay, I've got to really start making some significant changes. And so after Tessa was born, this was in 2019, I've shared this many times, I started to really get serious about figuring out, okay, what am I going to do? How am I going to make some significant changes in my life? My weight was out of control. My health, I had neglected my health. I neglected my spiritual health. I neglected all of these areas. The one thing that made the most profound difference in my life, there's a lot of things, but one of the biggest things, and was really the key to kind of unlocking my next steps and where I need to go and places I need to focus my energy on to really recalibrate and recenter myself, was writing down my 5 things that I'm grateful for, and then writing down the 10 dreams that I have. So if you aren't yet doing that, grab that guide and start doing that immediately. It will change your life. It's not going to change your life overnight because you didn't get to where you're at overnight. So whatever unhappiness and whatever struggle you're going through, you didn't just wake up and this just happened. So it's going to take time, and that's okay. I think when you go into it with this mindset that we know that it's going to be okay, you're going to give yourself some time and you're going to get through this. So grab that guide if you have not yet done so, and it'll be super helpful. So kind of going back, I get a little off track. I just love talking about this stuff. So earlier this year, as I was saying, so last year I was going through things and I'm really trying to consolidate and keep this story as short as possible. But as you learn more about me and we get to know each other, you'll kind of learn more about my background and where I was led and what I've done. But I was introduced to a lot of coaches and was introduced to this amazing online space and met a Christian business coach that changed my life. So I met her almost a year ago. It was last year, October. And I just remember hearing about her, seeing her website, checking her out, interacting with her, and it was in a professional setting, but I was just really blown away that here's this woman that is faith-filled and interceding and bringing it into the business world. I was really just intrigued. So I sat on it for a few months. And again, I don't think God puts people in our past that, without a reason or a purpose, especially when these people keep popping up in your head. So for me, I just kept thinking about her. I kept thinking about her. I kept thinking about her. I was like, well, do I reach out to her? Do I not reach out to her? What does this mean? I'm not really sure. Other things started to really kind of get crazy in my life, and I was really trying to discern, what should I do? Where do I focus my energy? When I looked and I thought about my big goals, I didn't see this one coming. So I think God just loves to just see and open us up to different things, and we aren't quite sure. It's kind of like with the money mindset too. Sometimes we put it out there into the world. We are gonna earn, or we need to attract a certain amount of money, and it will come to us in ways that we probably hadn't planned. And so I finally reached out to her and set up a call and wanted to meet with her, and we met, and I was early 2022, and then I know I signed a contract with her by February of 2022. And when we started our work together, and I shared with her what I wanted to do, and the baseline goal of all I wanted to do is just help women bring life into this world. That was it. Like, that was my main goal. This is the one thing that I've always been extremely passionate about. And I was, I felt kind of funny, like, saying this out loud though to another person. I mean, I've shared things with other people, but to really start putting this out there and trying to figure out how to turn this into a business, I was like, oh my gosh, like, what's happening? So, anyways, my point is, I put this out, I started working with her, and I started to get sick. I got sick, probably a week or two into us working together. The enemy was just right there, just trying to just destroy me and just tell me, this is not going to work. You've got too much on your plate. You've got your family. At this time, I was still working full time. I had all the things I should be doing. This is just kind of this crazy idea, but it's just been so much on my heart. So I had to keep pushing through. And so if you're in that same spot, whatever, it keeps coming up for you. You're journaling, you're writing the things, you're praying, you're looking for answers and solutions. It keeps coming up, but it's not what the outside world or your close friends and circle think that you should be doing. It's okay. You are going to have to learn to be strong and be true to exactly who you are. And that's really learning to just grasp and take hold of your own intuition. So my point is, I got sick a lot, and the universe will continue to just throw things at us. I'm telling you this because as you start to do this work yourself, you are going to find, and I hear it over and over again. I worked with somebody, and things were coming up at work, and she was really working on boundaries and trying to prepare for her maternity leave, and setting the intentions for her work schedule prior to that time. And when she were to come back to work, she needed to have a set schedule and wanted this set schedule. And as she started to lay these boundaries out, coworkers started putting different times on her calendar. So it's just I'm telling you, things will just creep up, and you're going to be tested, and the universe is going to test you, and the enemy is going to test you, and you're going to have to just learn to build up that muscle and that stamina to keep going. Because really, at the end of the day, you're looking at being disciplined and being obedient, and it's hard. It is super, super hard. So we're learning to trust God, or if you don't believe in God, it's it's a higher power of some sort. But everything in the Unplanned Mom School, we're just really learning to trust that there is something greater at stake. And, really it starts with just our own intuition, because really that internal clock inside of us, clock or meter, whatever you that's not a very good analogy, but whatever we have inside, that intuition, that innate ability for us to just really know what's best for us is what we're tapping into. And just, we're going to run with it. because your story is different than my story, and your story is different from your best friend's story. Your story is different from your mom's story or your sister's story. So you're learning and grasping and need to be okay with your story, because it's your story. It's not anybody else's. And in fact, that coach, she told me when we were speaking one time, she just said, Ashley, you're the only one on the conference call. And we're on a Zoom call, and I'm looking at her kind of like, what are you talking about? And she said, it was only you and God on that conference call. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. So I love that. So same for you. Whatever you're going through, whatever you're feeling, whatever that needs to be done in your life, it's between you and God. So just hold on to that, because for me, that was such a key and pivotal moment for me and my growth. Okay. So as I'm kind of talking through that, I want to ask, so if you know of anybody that is going through something and could benefit from doing this type of work, or yourself is interested in this, I do have a few openings. Some of the main program is a 9-month program to work with me, and that is all listed on the unplannedmomschool.com website. So those details are on there. You can take a look at it, share the link, whatever you need to do, but you can just kind of see, and it's broken out that you can see kind of what's all included in that 9-month period. And again, any woman that is pregnant and wants to take some time off from doing any coaching, which is totally understandable, especially if you're home with a brand new baby, we do pause and pick up whenever things, when life is you're back at a different place to begin work again. So work, and meaning just yourself and your inner work. So take a look at that if you're interested. And of course, we would love for you to share that. And we're really just aiming to work and have really found the groundwork to assist high achieving women. So these are women that are, engineers, attorneys, entrepreneurs. These are women that are, maybe they look like they're super successful on the outside, but there's a lot. Here's what's interesting. They have a lot of external pressures. They may already have a family. They may not have a child yet, and this is their first pregnancy, or it's, they're in a different relationship from the one that they have maybe their kids with. Whatever the case may be, these women have a lot of pressures and people that are coming at them, the situations that they're coming up with, and really just kind of the business acumen and trying to figure out, hours and figuring just their life balance. The Unplanned Mom School is a melting pot of this unique group of people. And so you're not going to find these on a free group. And so we're out there, we've done market research. We know that a lot of these people, they may or may, they're not commenting as much, because it's a different pond, if you will, when you are out and looking at free pregnancy support groups. So the Unplanned Mom School is really for this underserved group of people, and I feel like they are neglected in a sense, because we don't have, they have the financial resources, but they don't have that extra support to really hone in on their specific situation. And the other thing is too, a lot of these women, they got pregnant, they weren't planning on it. Meanwhile, a lot of their friends are hiring fertility specialists. They are doing IVF. They're doing all the things, and they cannot get pregnant. So there's almost a sense of guilt as well, that, we just kind of embrace them where they're at. We talk through who they need to tell people that they are pregnant, and just, all of those feelings. So I am not a counselor. I am not a medical professional, but again, it's just talking from one person to another that has been exactly where you're at, and able to connect you to other people that are in very similar situations. So that's really at the heart of what the Unplanned Mom School is and does. So just very excited to share that, because again, we do have openings, and just really excited to see who God brings into our realm. All right. Whew, that's kind of a lot, isn't it? We're going to just kind of take a breather, let that all sink in. I wanted to kind of briefly talk too, because another thing we're going to work through as you are working on that mindset is really just being okay with being uncomfortable, and just finding that inner strength that is within you, and finding that girl again. So for me, for example, is I envision young Ashley when she was an athlete. So I was an athlete really all growing up through my childhood and into high school. And my favorite, I played soccer. I played a lot of team sports, but one of my favorite sports was running track. So if you ran track, you're going to probably totally relate to this. But running track and putting myself out there by myself, doing a race on my own. There's something about mentally preparing ourselves. So maybe it's you played an instrument and you did a solo performance, or you're a singer, something that you've had to do in your past where you had to go and do it on your own. Maybe you had to stand up and you did a speech when you were in high school or college, something that you had to really do and jump in and face on your own. Is think back to that girl. Think back to what you did. That was a time in my life. I see it now, but I really had a lot of faith, and I had a lot of faith in myself, and I had a lot of faith in God. So even though I was super, super scared, and I'm talking scared like shitless, because I'd be in the bathroom shitting my guts out before I would be going to run a 1 or a 200-meter race, and praying, but I was scared. And so I invite you right now to feel scared and to feel uncomfortable, because if you are not comfortable, or if you aren't uncomfortable, then you're probably not pushing yourself as hard as you should. You're not growing in a certain area that that needs some tending to. So really start to get uncomfortable and just embrace that fear, and you're going to get stronger with knocking the enemy down. Now as an adult, I love to kickbox. So, I just imagine that I am boxing and knocking out the enemy, because he's coming. And you have to learn how to really just be in a fighter stance and how to fight back. So you have got this, and I really I believe in you. The Unplanned Mom School, all the way around, and just everything that we put out there. I hope that this is a place where you see light, and that you start to see and truly believe that everything's going to work out. I don't have a crystal ball for your life. You don't have a crystal ball for your life, but whatever hardship you are faced with at the moment, you're going to get through it, and it's going to be fine. So, with that being said, I know that there's a ton of inner work on recentering and recalibrating, again, to really just kind of fine tune and put that antenna up to start listening to your own intuition again. So it's hard, but that's really where the magic is going to start to happen, is when you start to just give yourself some space and some grace and let it come to you, and start really being true to who you are. So, all right. I'm kind of looking through my notes. I do apologize to start to talk, and I really do this very much unscripted, to be honest with you. So I'm kind of rounding out. I want to make sure I've covered everything that I wanted to plan for you. Another message I wanted to give, just kind of summing up everything, is, as we're going through just some tumultuous times just in the world, I know that there is a lot of heaviness in the world, and it can be hard not to let that energy get you down. And so I know for me, I've really distanced myself from watching the news, spending too much time on social media. I really limit myself in those regards, and finding activities that are going to fill me up. So if you're in that same boat and you're feeling drained, don't feel bad to give yourself some space and to rest, because I think that's the word of the week that I've heard, just that keeps coming up for me, just in different conversations and things that are just going on. The word that keeps coming to me is rest. And so because my kids have been sick so much, it is tiring to care for small children and to work and to take care of a home and to be cleaning and disinfecting, all these things. It can be super exhausting, and it's okay sometimes. It's okay to just take a break, take that extra day off of work, and give yourself just some space, because I find that when we give ourselves that grace and we actually rest and give our bodies, our minds, our souls, we give ourselves that time to truly rest. That's when we can pick back up and be more energetically in alignment with what we need to actually do. So I'm not saying go crazy and just spend a whole day, week, or whatever watching Netflix, but if you aren't one to, watch TV, or if you watch too much TV, maybe that's time to kind of, bring that bring that down a dial, and, focus on reading a book that's going to fill you up or something. So, just give yourself some rest. And lastly, I want to share that there are just so many amazing things there are amazing things that are going on in the world. And there are awesome, awesome, awesome people in the world right now that are living and walking amongst us on the earth. So I'm kind of switching gears here, but it is alignment with kind of knocking out the enemy, because there was a part of me that felt, as I'm talking about money in particular, I'm talking about money, I was feeling it was almost guilt that was creeping in for me, that if I'm bringing in money, my overall goal is to help a woman that is in financial distress. And so I really have been working on this the last couple of months, and it really got more and more clear as I was journaling and writing and thinking. So I'm super excited. If you haven't seen this yet on any of the social media, but we have partnered with Let Them Live, which is an organization that has that provides financial support to any woman that is looking to have an abortion because she can't afford to keep her baby. And so it's an incredible organization. They're out of Indiana. Nathan and Emily are the founders of this organization. They met a woman that was getting ready to go and have an abortion because she didn't have enough money to pay her bills. They emptied their bank accounts and they gave everything to this woman, and she kept her baby. And so from there, they started their organization called Let Them Live. And now this is what they do. They are just constantly helping women that are in financial need to have their baby. So, as you know, here at the Unplanned Mom School, we're talking all things money, mindset, and miracles. Now, tell me that's not a miracle, because there are a million awesome life affirming organizations here in the United States, and I believe worldwide, but I'm most familiar with ones here in the United States. And so I just was blown away, and I thank God for opening up my eyes to this organization, for helping me position and figure out a business plan for the Unplanned Mom School as we are growing. So women that are going to be working with us from here on out, 5% of that fee to work with the Unplanned Mom School is going directly to Let Them Live. So I'm just super, super excited that, we're working with and serving a very high-end clientele, and delivering amazing service for them, very high touch, white glove service for them, and then also able to financially bless other women that are in need. And so, of course, I'm working with them, and I hope eventually that they'll start listening and that other women are going to be brought in. But we do have scholarship opportunities if the case arrives. Message us for any details on that. But we're all really in this together. And so it's just awesome that if there are women out there and they're wanting to have their babies, it just fills my heart. So I feel really, really excited and blessed and just happy to share this with you. So I had to throw this in because it just happened here within the last week or so, and just very, very, very excited because it really falls into an alignment with our mission and our values here within the Unplanned Mom School. So anyways, as always, I am praying for you. I'm praying for victory in your life. And just know that we are here for you if you need us. As always, reach out to us. And again, if there's anybody that is in your heart right now that you think would this message would really resonate with them, be sure to just share it. You never know. We are looking for public speaking events and conferences. So wherever this message and the mission of the school, wherever it needs to be in the world, I do believe that God's going to bring the right people to us. So if you're one of those people and you know somebody that works in that space as an event coordinator, or just know of an event that you think that, hey, this would be awesome for the Unplanned Mom School to be at, be sure to let us know, because because, there's only so many hours in a day. We're trying to keep a lookout, but we can't catch and see everything. So any help that you can send our way, we certainly welcome it. And, if this is not up your alley, you just like the podcast, which is fine and great and dandy, be sure to check out Let Them Live. I've got the link in the show notes. And if you're looking for an organization, if you've got, extra money that you would love to donate, I just ask that you sit with that idea. And once you learn more about the organization, if that's one that speaks to you, I just ask that you donate them and bless, and you just never know where that's going to go, and just help other women feel encouraged and empowered, and just give, life-affirming belief and resources to these people, because, I was in their shoes at one point, and maybe you were in the same boat and needed financial assistance at that time in your life. So I just ask that you please take that into consideration and give them a listen or a look if you are interested. So, all right, much love. Again, wishing you all the peace, prosperity, all that good stuff in your life. And don't be a stranger. So I will talk to you soon. See you next week. Okay, my sweet mamas, if you're tuning in and have got a friend's name that just keeps bubbling up at the top of your head as you've been listening to this episode, go ahead. I want you to grab that link, copy and paste it, and shoot them a quick text and just tell them that you were thinking of them. After all, we're all here to help each other. And if this episode resonated with you, there's a pretty good chance that something in it will resonate with them as well. This show is for you, so do me a solid. Go ahead, share it with that one person that comes to mind so we can spread the love to all of our sisters. And if you really loved it, it would mean the world to me if you would leave a review. All right, thank you, my sweet friends. Thanks so much for tuning in. I will see you all next week. And if you need any more inspiration between now and then, come on over and check us out on TikTok. See you soon.